Welcome to another episode of the Contagious Culture podcast. I'm your host, Kyle King, and the goal of this podcast is to help you create an ecosystem of academic excellence. One of the questions that I want you to reflect on today is, how bad do I really want my school to grow? And I want you to really take some time to write it down. How bad do I want my students to have the resources that they desire and deserve to be successful, not just academically, but socially? How bad do I want to ensure that my teachers are equipped, educated, and empowered to transform the lives of the children that they were called to serve? How bad do I want to ensure that my leaders are equipped with the necessary developmental skills and training so that they can lead this work and be a part of the charge forward so that we can shift the educational system that we see today? How bad do I want resources outside of just desk, furniture, and curriculum? How bad do I want to expand my school, market it in the community, or even get all of the various things that will allow us to attract not just families, but also partners? The answer in that question truly lies in how well your school is fundraising, developing, and advancing the school forward. Do you have a developmental team? Do you know any of the assets that you would need to be able to advance the school forward? Do you even know what development is? Now, we have many episodes that we've already published, so you should go back and check out one of our past episodes on breaking down development and various keys towards fundraising and the importance why every school needs to be able to do this on a daily basis to be able to drive success and be able to become more competitive. In the landscape of schooling today, one of the niches and one of the resources that we've been able to identify and one of the problems that we've been able to solve is, how can we fundraise better? And I'm not just talking about fun runs or PTA or PTO fundraisers or even school fundraisers where we're doing restaurant lunches or booster-thons or all of these various things. I'm talking big dollars. I'm talking $250,000, $1 million, $10 million funding campaigns, capital campaigns, major gifts to the school so that you can be able to commit to growing the mission statement that you once set out to be able to lead. In this video, we're going to talk about four critical steps that every fundraiser needs. And if you are an educational leader, if you are a part of a developmental team, then these 4 steps are critical for you to not only be able to understand fundraising, but critical that you assess these steps, use these steps, and execute on all of the steps that we'll share today so that you can be able to not just have more, but be able to impact further. The first step of this process is to prepare. In anything that we do, preparation is necessary for us to be able to execute as well as being productive. And the preparation phase is usually 1 to 6 month process. Is you're organizing assets, you're building this development or cross-functional team, and you're identifying all of the key areas that are going to help support you as a part of this mission. It's important that you're pinpointing all of the marketing efforts and the storytelling and the data and the event support. And it's important that you don't do this work alone. When we're thinking about building a cross-functional team, this includes operations. This includes communication and leadership and all of the champions and stakeholders in this ecosystem of academic excellence that will allow you to drive this work forward, moving the needle forward on a day-to-day basis. Now, key contributors on this team are necessary. And I'm going to have a link below so that you can click on the 7 key team members that you need on your developmental team that we would recommend you having at the Culture Lab. How do you find them, assess them, interview them, and be able to have them on your team so that they can be able to lead this work? When we think about building a cross-functional team, it's also important to organize all of the assets prior to you even recruiting these individuals. This could be a fundraising toolkit. This could be a potential pitch deck. This could be impact reports, talking points, a one-pager, digital presence, websites, landing page, donor tiers, all of these various things. And why this is important in the work that we've done, I recognize that we've worked with the schools that don't even have one person in their developmental team and they're completely new to this work. We've also worked with schools that have already raised tens of millions of dollars and are trying to execute as well as expand their networking potential. One of the things that I want to put in the prepare stage is I want you to write a list down of all of the people, connections, community members, stakeholders that you are connected to in your community. Have government officials been to your school? Have local congressmen or local council members been to your school? Do police officers or sheriffs, nonprofit or business leaders, do corporations know about the various things that you're doing, whether from a small business standpoint or a major corporation standpoint? In the prepare stage, one thing that we've been able to do at the Culture Lab and working with the school in the past is that we had 100 people, 100 parents, early on in the business, we had 100 parents go off with a specific one-pager survey. They went a 1 to 2 mile radius around the school. What they did is all we wanted to be able to assess is, do you know the schools by name? What do you know about the school? And if you've ever heard about the school, is it something negative or positive? Based upon this data, surveying 100 business owners, 27% within a 1 to 2 mile radius of business owners, community leaders, and the various partners around this specific school knew and heard about the school. 27%. That leaves us with 73% of individuals in a 1 to 2 mile radius that never heard of the school. That presents a problem. Because oftentimes we're wanting to go off and create resources and mobilize resources and fundraise and do all of this marketing and digital advertising. But if the people in your closest network and your close community don't know who you are, that creates an issue. So it's important in this prepare stage to be able to have and organize those assets, build that cross-functional team, as well as identify key areas of support so that you can be able to move towards step 2, which is the proving phase. Now, I understand the preparation phase and the prepare stage was really just laying the foundation before asking for anything. But once we get to the prove stage, now that we have the foundation built, it's important for us to earn trust before you make the ask. In any business, people need to know, like, and trust you before they buy from you. So the major components of the prove stage are, you want to first showcase your results on a daily basis. You want to be able to share consistent wins, whether of student stories, educator stories, leader stories, parent stories, alumni stories, and milestones, whether through newsletters, media releases, a YouTube channel, video forms, social media, word of mouth. You want to be able to showcase what impact you're having within your school, but also the result of the things that your school is doing and how it's impacting the greater community around you. Years ago, I had the opportunity of engaging with a school. And one of the questions when I was talking to one of their board members is, of all of the things that you've been able to do, what is the greatest thing that you've done with the school? Why should people choose this school? We were only working together about a month. And at this time, I said nothing. I said, because right now, the school has not done anything to be able to prove that they have earned the trust, that they are credible, and outside of the beautiful buildings, the beautiful turf field, and the high enrollment, teachers are unhappy, students' retention scores are low, disciplinary reports were out of the roof, bias and certain various aspects were impacting academic achievement within the classroom, school culture and school morale was low, and all of these various issues persisted. It's hard for me, and it's hard for anyone in the prove stage for us to be able to go out and earn trust if trust doesn't exist in the school building. So yes, it's important to highlight social proof. It's important to practice telling stories about all of the great things that the school is doing. But what are the holes, gaps, and challenges that you're experiencing as a leader internally that we need to clean up before we start marketing all of the beautiful things that we're doing? Mission alignment and execution alignment is critical. Oftentimes we market things and then we pull back the curtain and we go under the hood and the car isn't running in the way that we would want it to run. We don't want just a beautiful car that can't drive. Nor do we want to market without having internal operations, communication, and systems in place. When I think about the proof stage, we need to be able to work together to make all of the invisible things that are happening, that are impacting students, teachers, parents, and stakeholders, visible. I've often said on our podcast episodes that if you don't tell people you're doing it, it's just as bad as you not doing it. People need to know the great work that you're doing, whether it's special things in a club that you brought in, or a specific speaker that impacted students, or a cutting edge lesson that an educator had. We want to be able to share our processes, highlight our people, and not just share outcomes. We want to be able to let testimonials, endorsements, press, third-party entities showcase and highlight the great work that we're doing as a school. So once we've prepared ourselves and we've laid a great foundation, then we've been able to prove that I am a trusted source. We are credible. We are doing this work. Our in-house is clean. Work with us. Now it's time to partner. Now it's time to engage with people, not just pockets. The hardest reality that I've had to learn is that relationships are greater and outweigh strategy. Relationships and networking eat strategy for breakfast. Designing meaningful touch points, co-creating value, and building meaningful relationships is critical for you to be able to be successful as a fundraiser. This third step is where 90% of schools drop the ball, because everyone is great with showcasing what they're doing. But many of us have gotten away from good old-fashioned relationship building, whether that is following up without always asking for something, whether that is just celebrating birthdays and milestones within their company and showing ways that you care about their organization, whether that is inviting them in as a part of a feedback loop or input, and make not just donors givers, but collaborators. Don't just make them ATMs, but create a system where they're working together so that they can be able to grow not just the school's bank account, but the opportunity to be able to transform the school forward. When we're thinking about designing these meaningful touch points, we have to think about, when are we going to invite these individuals in? How are we involving them as a part of our process? And where are we including them as a part of what we're trying to do, what we're trying to create? One of the things that I'm thinking through with the Culture Lab is every single step of my company, how can we maximize the experience? Not just when someone pays us, but before someone pays us, what can we do before they get on the call? Can I create a welcome video to just welcome them and get them excited about the call that they're getting ready to have with one of our team members? After the call that we have, can we send them a follow-up thank you card digitally? Once they pay, can we send them a digital welcome video and some form of a gift directly to the address that they have on file? At every single touch point, is there a way that we can be able to showcase to our clients, to our customers, or in this case, to our donors, that we see you, we appreciate you, we love you, and we need you as we continue to move forward as a part of our process? How can we create meaningful, not just touch points, meaningful experiences? And that leads us to number 4. Now that we've been able to set a foundation, then we were able to prove and earn the trust before asking for anything. Then we were able to partner and have this commitment to engaging with people, not just pockets. Now it's important for us to propel, taking relationships to the next level. Now we've been dating these individuals for months, potentially even years. We've been going out. We've been inviting them to our school. We've been inviting them to events. We've been having crucial conversations with them. We've created spaces and experiences for them to fall in love. Now we're going to ask them for that hand in marriage. Or in this case, we're going to identify opportunities to be able to upgrade them to the next level. We're going to create an opportunity to ask them for something big with confidence, clarity, and competence. And then we're going to keep that momentum going. Many of us fall off before this stage, but many of us fall off in this stage because we may have a great opportunity. We may be able to use data to segment and spot a readily available opportunity for deeper engagement. We may even be able to have the confidence, competence, and clarity to make the big ask. But many of us fall off because we forget to keep the momentum going. We forget that stewardship starts after the gift. We forget that it requires us to keep donors close and inspired to give again and again and again. Many fundraisers make the mistake of not being prepared. Many fundraisers make the mistake with not having enough credibility to be able to prove and earn trust before making the ask. We don't showcase results on a daily basis. We don't highlight social proof through impact reports, through newsletters, through social media, through word of mouth, through progress reports. We don't talk about outcomes, processes. We don't focus on making the invisible visible. And then that hurts our ability to partner. That hurts our ability to engage with people and not just pockets. It hurts our ability to design these meaningful experiences. And I know you understand this because you're an educator and you're focused on designing the most meaningful experiences in the classroom for students, to be able to engage, to be able to connect, to be able to be educated, empowered, and equipped with all of the things that they need to succeed. That same level of intentionality, that same level of care, that same level of commitment that we have to engage with our students. It's important that we engage with our donors, that we are committed to building real, meaningful relationships. And if we do that with excellence, if we are prepared, if we are able to prove our method, if we have engaged with people and not just pockets, and now we're partnering with people, then this allows us to take the relationship to the next level and propel. This allows us to create deeper opportunities to engage. This allows us to confidently, with competence and clarity, ask for that big gift, that big commitment. This allows us to not just ask one time, but to create momentum and opportunities for us to continue to build upon that one ask. If you want to make a change at your school, it requires resources. If you want to impact not just classrooms, students, but your community, it requires resources. But ultimately, it requires you to be prepared. It requires you to prove what you're doing well. It requires you to have partnerships. And ultimately, if you have those three components, it requires you and will set you up to propel as a part of this fundraising journey. With these 4 steps as a part of this method, you fundraise faster and better. But it's not just about fundraising. It's about creating meaningful opportunities for students through the mobilization of resources. My name is Kyle King. It's another episode of the Contagious Culture podcast. We'll see you next episode.